Hey everyone, so I just finished filming the tutorial for this look, which is like my next Christmas kind of party look for this season, and it was done using the new Urban Decay The Vice palette, which is the Urban Decay Christmas or holiday offering palette wise for this year, and the colours in it are absolutely gorgeous. It comes with 20 colours, which is a lot more than some of the previous palettes. Now the only other Urban Decay palettes I own, just to show for comparison, would be the Deluxe eyeshadow. It's called the Deluxe eyeshadow palette, I think, yeah. So this one only had 9 colours in it, as opposed to the 20 in the Vice palette, even though it is quite a big palette. It's quite a bulky palette. I wouldn't say it's hugely travel friendly or anything like that. And then just again for comparison, for anyone who doesn't have too many of the Urban Decay palettes or know them, this would be it compared to the Naked palette. So it's like obviously totally different layout. Now Urban Decay isn't the cheapest brand in Ireland anyhow, definitely not. This cost, where's me receipt? This one cost €47. It's available in Debenhams in Ireland, but not in all the Debenhams. It's not in Galway yet, but I got this when I was down in Limerick recently. It comes with a little dual-ended brush here, so you've got the blending brush on one end and like your more traditional eyeshadow brush on the other end. They are synthetic because Urban Decay are big into their, you know, obviously being kind to animals and stuff like that, so they're not going to use natural hair bristles. I like this brush, but more so for like cream and like greasy products, so for under eye concealer or for blending out eyeliner and stuff like that. It's not the best for picking up eyeshadow just because it is synthetic, but it's not a bad brush by any means, but that's what comes with it. The actual box itself is like this. I actually love the box. I love that it's not too faffy or too fussy. It shows all the different colours on the back with the names and what they look like, so I think that's dead handy. Now, what put me off getting the previous holiday palettes by Urban Decay was the fact that they were so faffy and so kind of prissy. The Book of Shadows, which were cardboard boxes, essentially, sturdy enough, but still cardboard boxes, and then they had those big pop-out things, beautiful to look at. I mean, it would be any, you know, it's a girl's dream or whatever, but I nearly always look at these things from a makeup artist point of view, and it's just not practical, especially for the kit. Whereas this, even though it is a rather large palette, doesn't really put me off too much though, because there are 20 colours in it, so you get a lot for what it is. I like that it's plastic, much more sturdy. I like that it's not too fussy. I like that it's just a really nice kind of regal purple with that beautiful Urban Decay raised thingy on the front. And yeah, so I really like the packaging, even though I think it seems to be 50-50 from what I can see in the reviews so far. Now, as far as the colours themselves go, I will be doing swatches on my blog, so you can see them properly there, because it's not always as easy to see how they look perfectly on the skin on camera. But I'll just go ahead and pop some onto my arm now so you can see how they come out on the skin. Okay, so these are the 5 eyeshadows on the bottom row. This guy here is Never Mind. It's a lovely satin one, maybe similar a little bit to Satin Taupe, or like kind of maybe in between Satin Taupe or Sable by MAC. This next guy is Echo Beach. This is a beautiful like golden beige, or yeah, slightly beigey colour. The one in the middle you can barely see against my skin tone because it's so light, my own skin is so light. That one is Anonymous. It's a beautiful base colour, just a really handy matte base colour. The next one is Freebird. So this is a lovely sparkly pink, really lovely girly colour. Yeah, it's kind of a bit glittery. And then the last one is the other matte one called Laced. Again, like I said, it's a little bit like Kid or Malt by MAC. It's a lovely kind of light transitionary, or like light to medium transitionary colour, perfect for blending out darker shadows. So obviously this is the most neutral row of the entire palette, and it would probably be one of the more used rows, or the most wearable rows, I'd say. So this is the second row up from the bottom. First colour here is Provocateur. This is like a sparkly baby kind of beige pink. This is one of the bittier ones, so expect fallout with it. It probably will be a little bit harder to work with. It's a bit like Jagged, which I used in the makeup tutorial for the look that I was wearing now, so you can see there how I would use those. The next one over is Rapture, which doesn't come out as beautiful on camera as it is in real life. It has just a really beautiful kind of grape tone to it with subtle, like lighter purple shimmer in it. A really beautiful colour. This is one of my favourite rows, I think, because of the purples. Then the next one is Vice, which is a beautiful rich purple, just gorgeous, really smooth and buttery. The next one is Noise, which is it's a pink colour, obviously, but it has like subtle kind of gold glitter in it, which probably won't show up on camera. It's really interesting. I'd have to see it on the skin properly, I think, to see how it turns out. But as I said, or I don't know if I did say, none of these are over any primer or anything like this. They're just swatched onto bare skin, so they're coming out as they are. And then the last colour is Armour, which is a beautiful kind of, I want to say kind of a mauvey silver. Again, it's just a really beautiful, interesting colour. So all of these are unique colours. They haven't been out before by Urban Decay, and I think that is a beautiful row. Then the next row, which is the third up or the second down, this contains two of my favourite eyeshadows from this palette actually. The first one is Junkie, which is this absolutely beautiful emerald, like turquoise colour. I don't know whether it be jade or turquoise, or I don't know, it's absolutely gorgeous anyhow. So that goes on, it's one of the smoothest applying eyeshadows so far. The next one here is Chaos. I didn't actually realise that this was going to be as matte as it was until I swatched it. This is a very, very matte, kind of rich royal blue. It's a little bit powdery, but it still goes well onto the skin, as you can see there, considering there's no primer. Yeah, I would be worried it would maybe disappear if you were to overblend it, but it's still a lovely colour. The next one in is Occupy, which is a beautiful, it's kind of like a grey colour with blue sparkle in it. It's what I have underneath my eye for this look, so you can see that on the blog. It's a beautiful colour though, and it goes on. I think you do need a base for some of the more bitty ones, but it goes on pretty well. Another beautiful colour is this Unhinged. This one is really buttery. You wouldn't need to rely on a primer for that. It's this gorgeous brighter turquoise colour. This would be more jade, I suppose, and that one's more turquoise, but it's beautiful, like aqua blue colour. And then the final one, which is Black Market on this line. It's not an actual black. I mean, it's pretty black, but it's more of a very, very darkest brown. I wouldn't say it's 100% black. It is not 100% matte. I'd say it's more of a satin matte. It is a nice dark colour, and it will work perfectly for darkening out smoky eyes. For the top and final row of colours, and these are the more earthy toned colours, you have first of all Desperation, which is quite a matte one. It's a bit more of a satiny matte. It's not too powdery. It's just a dark brown. Reminds me a little bit of maybe Smut or Mystery by MAC. The next one over is Muse. This looks much nicer in the palette than it goes on the skin. It looks quite coppery in the palette, but you lose a lot of that copper sparkle when it goes onto the skin bare, and you're left with just a dark brown colour, which is similar to its neighbour Desperation. I think you will definitely need a primer for that bronze or copper sparkle to show up. The next one over is more of a greeny bronze colour. This is what I have on my top lid today for this colour. This one's called Jagged. It is one of the more bitty ones, so it's quite like provocateur. You definitely need a base for it. I put it over a dark base, a black kohl pencil for mine, which was over another primer. But it comes out beautiful, kind of like an army green kind of bronzy colour once it's on over a dark colour, but it does look just like a little bit bitty and crap on the skin when it doesn't have a base. The last two are beautiful and buttery and go on so smooth. The first one is Blitz, which is a very, very true gold colour. It's extremely buttery. It's very, very soft, so you want to be careful not to put too much pressure on it in the palette so it doesn't break off, but it goes on beautifully. You definitely don't need to rely on primer for it. And the final one is Penny Lane, which I used on the inner corner of my eyes for today's look, and that is just a really beautiful kind of peachy like penny colour, like a golden peach colour, which is another beautiful buttery soft colour. And those are all the colours in the palette. Okay, so there are all the colours swatched for you, so you can get an idea of what they're like. The two most problematic would definitely be Jagged and Provocateur, and maybe like something like Muse, which you definitely need a base just so that you can actually see it, the true colour. For the most rest of it, they're absolutely beautiful, really buttery. I think they're very good for the price. Like I said, it is quite expensive in Ireland, €47. I believe it could be even as much as $58 or $59 in America. you can correct me if I'm wrong there. But for €47 and 20 colours, I mean, that means you're only paying what, like 2 something per eyeshadow, which is very, very good. And each eyeshadow has 0.8 grams in it. So if you compare that to maybe like a Bourjois eyeshadow, which has 1 gram of eyeshadow in it, and that's a tenner each for each of those pots here in Ireland, it's not that bad when you consider that. So I would highly recommend this palette, especially for anyone who likes to collect the palettes. There's less faff about it compared to maybe the other Bokeh shadows, which I like. Other people might prefer the fact that the other ones were a bit more kind of frilly and fancy looking. I like that this is a bit more pared down, a bit more sleek. Yeah, just there's a couple you have to be careful of as they do break up in the palette, like Blitz and Jagged or Provocateur, like the other ones I said. So just not to put too much pressure on the softer ones once you figure out which ones they are. But I think I should have covered most of that in this. But either way, I hope that was helpful. Anyhow, if you want to see the tutorial for this look, you can click here, or there will also be a link below. And yeah, head on over to LetzMakeup.com for more information and pictures and stuff. And in the meantime, I'll chat to you all really soon. So long, guys.